We're back. Colorado Trail, segment 5. The real one this time. Going from the Long Gulch trailhead to Kenosha Pass. I say for real this time because, funny story, a couple of weeks ago I came out to do segment 5 and I trusted Google Maps for directions to the trailhead. I ended up starting in the wrong place, 8 miles further away. So I ended up having to cut short before segment 5. So basically I ended up redoing part of segment 4 a second time. Fun. Moral of the story is, don't trust Google Maps. It gives me problems when I'm chasing, and it's giving me problems while I'm backpacking. Well, that certainly didn't take long. This is a really wet area of the trail. Got a little stream behind me. It's just a mosquito place. Right over here, in fact, is where I camped. The night that I accidentally did segment 4 a second time. Kind of a janky, unlevel campsite. I like how the trail almost deliberately finds these rock outcroppings so you can have these spectacular views. Colorado Trail does exist, basically to show off Colorado, and it does a spectacular job of it. The best time of year to be up here tends to be gloomy. It is, after all, the official beginning of monsoon season right now. I think unofficially it's probably July 15. Today's July 20 something, I don't remember. Just trying to start to get into a groove here. Most of the first half of this segment is downhill. However, the first quarter mile or so is kind of steeply uphill. But I think I've come into the downhill part, so I'll be able to make up some ground. 0.7 miles in right now. Just about every time I've been on the trail, it's been gloomy or raining or both, with sunshine in the mornings. Of course, now there's a new nemesis. Wildfire smoke from California, Oregon, Washington, British Columbia, Idaho. That smoke is all pouring out over across most of the United States, including Colorado. So that's kind of affecting visibility and air quality. So it's not exactly spectacular conditions to be backpacking. It's nice to see these burned over areas that have actually regrown quite a bit. Still a lot of young trees, only a couple of older ones. So, I don't know. Tough to say. It should have been a fire probably 20, 30 years ago, but you never know. Some of these take a long time to get started. Like I showed on segment 2, you could have areas that burn over and nothing regrows for years. You know, it was 20 years of barren in that case. But yeah, good to see an area of the forest bouncing back, actually, considering we keep losing so much of it. This is what you hope would happen, but some of those fires burn so hot and so high that there's just nothing left and nothing to start from, to start over again. One of those older trees that quite literally burned from the inside out. Looks like we've got some actual sunshine in store. I looked at the weather. I did look at the weather before I came, and it was questionable on whether we would have rain or clear skies. It looked mostly like We might get some clear skies out of it. But yay, sun. That means clear nights. There's Joe's plane. So while I'm walking through the Lost Creak wilderness, I thought I'd talk about why it's called Lost Creak. I would have assumed it meant it was just a lost geographical feature, like, because it's hard to get to. Kind of tucked in away from everything. Kind of the middle of nowhere. The middle of nowhere inside of the middle of nowhere. But actually it's called Lost Creak in the Lost Creak wilderness because of lost gold. This is a mining region. There are legends that gold was mined and then stashed here and then subsequently lost by the miners. Or there are other stories that it was actually gold thieves that would rob stagecoaches down in South Park and then had a cache for all of their gold and other goodies up in the Lost Creak wilderness somewhere, and then subsequently lost that cache. There are some areas, it's conjectured, that haven't yet been touched by humans in this area. So if you like lost treasure stories, this is definitely a good one. But good luck, because it is rugged. As soon as you get off this trail, a lot of down trees, a lot of thick forest, and steep terrain. It would take many lifetimes to probably cover this entire territory with a fine-tooth comb. And if it's a buried treasure, well, good luck again. So yeah, that's the reason it's called Lost Creek, Lost Park, Lost Creek Wilderness. I just call it beautiful. Marsh, marsh, marsh. Looked out and the seasonal stream had some water for me. Not that one, but a better one. That's more like a mud puddle. It's kind of a gulch down that way that little stream follows. Ever heard that whole thing about how Eskimos have something like 15 or 30 words for snow? Have you ever considered how many words there are in English for flowing water? It's outrageous. Creek, stream, creek, river, gulch, gully, draw, cascade, rapids, tidal wave, current, drain, diversion, canal, channel. Are creek and crick distinct? So now this area, by contrast, appears to be affected by wind damage, probably thunderstorm wind damage. A good majority of the trees that are down were uprooted, and they're the tallest ones. It's like the shorter trees got spared in lieu of the largest ones being taken down. Judging by the debarking, this is probably at least 4 or 5 years old. Maybe it doesn't even have to be that long. It could be just a really harsh area, but it doesn't look like this happened in the last couple of years, at least. It's actually getting really messy up in front of me. You can see the sun there. This is a northwestern facing slope, which is another good indicator that it might be wind driven. This would have been a scary, scary day, especially if this happened when the trail is being used by hikers. You do not want to be right here when this goes down. Man, this kind of reminds me of the Boundary Waters canoe area derecho. The blowdown is so pervasive and so widespread like this. Waterfall. Can we count penstock? Inlet. Whirlpool. I hear some significant flowing water. Anyone lose a flannel? Now, I don't need any water, but if I'm reading this right on the map, and the seasonal streams are flowing seasonably, then that might be the 3.9 mile mark. And there should be another one in slightly more than half a mile from here. What's so unique about trails in Colorado, but especially this one, is you cross so many different microbiomes. If you don't like the scenery, you just wait a couple of minutes. So another northwestern facing hillside or mountainside, and another major blowdown, just like the other one, about the same age, Now this tree's a trooper. Look at these little guys. Aw. Looks like we're coming up to another rocky mountain up there. Rocky Mountain face. This segment is doing a lot of repeating itself. This is the second time I've had a trail that walks right up to the edge of a granite mountain face. Second time I've seen a blowdown. And I'm gonna come up on a stream, I think that looks just identical to the one I was just at. And I hear flowing water. Let's see if we can't score a campsite around here. Yes, this will do quite nicely. Oh, it's so quiet. There's not even the slightest breeze. Fire pit right here. I think there's another one over there. There is lots of burnable material all around. So now the only danger with this site is that I'm near water and not near much wind, which pretty much guarantees the mosquitoes are going to be bothering me. But they don't bother me that much, specifically me. My eyes always seem to puff up a little bit when I do these. It'll be gone in the morning. I don't know if it's like from squinting. I've got about an hour until sunset, and I need to spend some of that time getting firewood, but for the moment, I just need to relax. All right, this should be plenty of firewood, right? I think we can manage. I think this can work. And there's dinner. Bacon wrapped tenderloin filet and a zook. Oh yeah, boy. Look at that steak, boy. Scrambled O. Haven't seen him in a while. Need more videos. Scrambled O. I bet by now more people think that's Joe Robinette than Scrambled O. Montreal steak, in case you're wondering. This gonna be good. Kinda wishing I had a better cushion than my coat. Like a proper chef, we've allowed it to cool off the fire. You know, let's try a bite. Let's try not to dump this plate. Oh, this is going to be treacherous. Into the thick of it. I don't know what I can do to stabilize this better. If it falls on the ground, I'm still eating it. There's no chance in heck I'm not eating this. I am starving. Oh my goodness. Angel choir singing, I swear. I have missed this. Oh my goodness. Wow, that is delicious. I'm totally doing that again one of these times. Better flip my zooks. I'm getting a little roasty. They say hunger is the best cook, but I'm pretty fucking good too. At long last, I finally get to do a backpack trip on the Colorado Trail with a fire and a warm cooked meal that isn't stir fry or something off a stove. But no, a real fire, a real grill, and some grilled veggies and some steak or something. I don't know what I'll try next time, but wow. I don't know how poorly I'm lit, but let's get lit. Good way to celebrate, right? All right, time for more steak. This just makes things feel right with the world, you know. Last year was mentally challenging, emotionally challenging. I'd like to think that I made lemonade out of lemons last year, but at the end of the day, it was still a lot of lemons. And I'm not that fond of lemonade, honestly. Well, here's to more great stuff coming from me on this channel, and here's to improving health, and here's to not ever having another fire ban, or a pandemic, for that matter. Well, it's time to say goodnight. Good morning. My eye looks really puffy and gross right now. Kind of distracts a little bit from my hair. You look a little fogged up there, bud. That's better. Just getting things packed up and ready to go. Well, it is a gorgeous morning. Kind of a late start. We've got 10 more miles to go. 3 of that is very uphill. The rest should be easy. I think I figured out why my eye was puffy. Last night, I think I got a little bit of DEET in my eye, bug spray. I just remembered it while I was putting more bug spray on. Well, try to avoid that next time. Okay. Mosquitoes. We're off. In realistically any environment across the globe, you'll find the most diversity of plant and animal life right in the transition zones. And it's everywhere you go. You hear the most squirrel chattering. That's where you're going to find moose or bear. These monoculture forests, while they're important in their own right, that cover most of this landscape, actually have the least diverse plant and animal species. I mean, you could probably count everything that's growing in this section in front of me. There's 3 types of pine, maybe 4, grass, and a couple of wild plants, 5 or 6 species of wild plants maybe. The environment I just came from, there were 10 different kinds of wildflowers alone, and different kinds of trees, and different kinds of other plants growing. So they end up being the best food source for animals, and so that all adds up to the most diverse places. Anywhere you go, take a desert for example, look for the riparian zones. That's where those transitions happen. In mountainous woodlands, look for the gullies and gulches, and look for the little sections of prairie in between the woods. A wash, dam, diversion, flash flood. It feels so nice to be going downhill. I'm averaging 2.4 miles an hour. Yeah, so the cool thing is now I have this cool smartwatch that has built-in GPS, maps. It's a Garmin, so it has all that built in. I can show off stats like everything from calories burned and how fast I was moving, at what section, what elevation I was at. Really cool stuff. I used to calculate that manually and post it at the end of my video, but now I don't have to do that manually. It's right here. I can look at a report and see everything I've done. Oh, tiptoe through the tulips and the paintbrush and the other flowers that are brand new to me that I'm going to learn what they are when I get back. Trickle, geyser, fountain. I think segment 5 is now starting to compete with the other 3 I've done for best segment. So far I thought segment 2 is the best, and it was for reasons like this. You'd get these huge views from these wide open areas that were high up, and obviously there's a lot more of that coming on the trail further down into the double-digit segments. But so far, it's definitely competing with segment 2. And if nothing else, this is a lot greener and a lot less burned over than segment 2 was. So it's naturally better, I think. I love this one. There are definitely a lot more wildflowers out this summer than there were last summer. This is late July. Last summer things were starting to really kind of dry out. We were getting into some pretty devastating drought in this part of Colorado. But this year, there's really a tale of two Colorados. In the west, severe and extreme or exceptional drought west of the Continental Divide. East of the divide, like the Denver area for example, has gotten nearly double the annual rainfall so far this year. And that all started really with a big blizzard in March. And it's getting windy because I am getting into a big clearing. Okay, yeah. Now it's time to deal with a lot of uphill. I'm not going very fast. It's a heavy pack, and it's day 2. 3 or so miles of what I've got left is mostly uphill. So not looking forward to it, but I gotta do it. Finally leveled off for a little bit. That's welcome. That was about 1/3 of a mile of I don't know, 10% grade. Boy. All right, there's the Rock Creek trailhead. A little bit more downhill, and then right back uphill again. It's amusing when I see hikers with their day packs. You know, basically, they've got a snack and some water, and they're just hauling butt through here. I'm like, oh, I wish I could do that. Way out there, you're not gonna be able to see it probably on the GoPro, but way out there is the road I think I came in on. Probably as good a spot as any to stop and dry off the sweat. Just take a load off. 5 3/4 miles left to go. And if I'm reading the map right, it's gonna be the worst part of the trail. It's pretty much uphill for like 2 miles straight. Not looking forward to that. But it's probably gonna be a pretty spectacular view at the end, so looking forward to that. Oh, there's a storm brewing this way. Seems to be drifting away from me. I'm hearing thunder. I'm going uphill. I did see a stroke of lightning before I heard the thunder, and it was a long time. So I'm guessing that's just a long ways away. Storms out here are really high based. It can be hard to gauge distance when you're used to the plains or the Midwest where storm bases are low. This one apparently is a lot further away than I thought. Anyway, lightning safety tips. Anyone have any? Well, for one, don't stand under a lone tree. Lightning can strike that tree, which if it's a lone tree, it's more likely to get struck than areas just around it. And if lightning strikes a tree, it can travel through the ground immediately next to the tree and zap you from below. Though that's preferred to the other method, which if you're caught completely out in the open, no trees, no buildings, no structures, I guess it's the grab your ankle method, stick your butt in the air, hope you get struck in the butt so the lightning discharge doesn't go through your heart. I'd say try not to get into that situation. The least bad thing you can do is be in a grove of trees, like the one I'm heading into. How is that view, huh? Wow. Might be the most quintessentially Colorado view I've ever seen. Well, I'm not gonna get much time to look at it because now the storm cloud above me is starting to produce some lightning. So I gotta get out of Dodge into this lowered grove of trees here. That's the thing about this trail. You think you're at the prettiest part there's gonna be, and it just keeps getting better. Somebody's shooting way off in the distance there. Gotta make it up that exposed spot over there, and then I come down for a little while. All right, I think I'm just gonna go for it. That storm is moving nowhere fast or even away from me. Thunder's starting to get more distant. So, cautiously feeling good enough to just go ahead and do this exposed area. And it's exposed. That would not be a good place to be in a storm. Luckily that one's over there a good 50 miles or so. Not 100% perfect. Lightning can be tossed very far from the central storm cell where the rain is falling. Believe me, I've seen it hundreds of times. Well, I think I'm finally going back downhill again. That was a brutal 800-foot climb. And I got another one here in a bit. Tired coach. Really beautiful spot though. This is me one of those where it goes downhill too fast and you have to like basically catch your fall at every step, which isn't fun. For me, that's when I get blisters. And you don't exactly get any speed out of it. All right, coming up to the last incline. We have to go up another 700 or 800 feet. It'll take forever, but I'll take my time. A little Jeep road right here. It's a woodsy climb, and it's a long climb. Got 250 more feet vertical to go, and then it'll all be downhill from there. Okay, that's 10,200. Also, estuary, slough, and tides. So yeah, new favorite segment. That is glorious. That I'm gonna have to come back here in the fall. Wow. Okay, 10,300. A little over 100 more feet to go. Culvert. The top of segment 5. 10,400 feet and some change. Right at the top. Okay. Well, hopefully it's easy sailing. That little section there ran me out of water. And I've got a little less than 2 miles left to go until I get to the water that's waiting for me in the truck. Well, that figures. You finally get to a decent downhill area, and it's steep and rocky, which means you have to be slow. Arrgh. Pretty awesome. I like how it's just sort of straight down. Really awesome vantage point. It's just too bad it's so hazy. That's US 285 right here. Kenosha Pass is over this way. And that dirt stripe right there is the road that gets you to the Long Gulch trailhead. I love having drone views with my own eyes. All right, the end. The end is close. I see my truck. Home sweet truck. Well, thanks for tuning in and enjoying this backpack sightseeing tour of the Colorado Trail with me. I hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, all that business. And until the next one, I'll see you out there. Figures I would get right to my truck. Maybe 100 yards left to go. And it starts pouring down rain on me, and I'm soaked to the bone. Everything is soaked. 100 yards. Spring.